don't put too much stress on your first kiss. It'll happen, but like it gets better, more funnier, and like
Yeah. And it only gets magical if you're actually in love with the person, like later on
yeah,
after you've
yeah,
kissed them a lot. But yeah,
yeah.
usually the first
That's
kiss.
true. I prefer women, but I want a guy to force himself on me. I am open to trans women doing the same, but I don't see too many of them wanting. Oh, some of them do like work off the side because like some of
Sure.
them are actually sex workers. So
Yeah.
like there's never a shortage for someone to take a nice 40-year-old hairy man aside and take him. just really
That,
take him.
what
like
I
there's
want is one last kiss, but she won't let me have it. I want to get over her, but I can't. I need help. Hey, this is Morgan Rector. Join me and my co-host Rosanna Chilton for the Confession Post podcast. ConfessionPost.com is a website where users post highly personal content anonymously for the reading pleasure of other users. On this podcast, Rosanna and I read confessions from the site and give our analysis. You can listen to the Confession Post podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you get your podcasts. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am Rachel Telfor.
And I'm Michelle Gower.
We are the hosts of a new true crime podcast.
It is called Children of the Void.
The Void refers to children who are missing
and children who have died under mysterious and suspicious circumstances.
Sometimes parents know nothing about what has happened to their child.
And sometimes they seem to know more than they let on.
Like Casey Anthony.
And the John Benet Ramsey case.
We are determined to do our part to find missing children.
And the truth when the story of their disappearance doesn't hold up.
Together, we will blast the shadows with light so that no more children disappear into the void.
Children of the Void debuts in September.
Join us so we can all make a difference.
Please subscribe.
Until then, I'm Rachel Telfor.
And I'm Michelle Gower.
You can catch Children of the Void on Apple, Spotify, YouTube,
and everywhere else you get your podcasts.
Hey y'all, Morgan Rector here. Do you have an idea for a podcast? Furthermore, would you like to host and co-produce your own podcast? I am always looking to expand the portfolio of my company, Leader One Podcast Network. If you would like to have your own show, send me an email and we can talk about it. Aside from politics and religion, I'm open to just about any topic. If you are passionate, knowledgeable, and articulate, I want to talk to you. You can contact me by email, morgansvariety@gmail.com. I hope to hear from you soon. Hey, Morgan Rector here. I'm just dropping a line to say thank you to all of my Patreon donors. Since I'm not a Joe Rogan or Mark Maron, podcasting is more or less a starving artist gig for guys like me. Patreon donations keep me from having to take a job that would take away from my ability to generate more Human Monsters content. The website URL for Patreon is www.patreon, that's spelled patreon.com/leader, O-N-E, Leader One. A way to make a one-time donation is to send it through PayPal at Morgan Rector 331, Rector spelled R-E-C-T-O-R, at hotmail.com, morganrector331 at hotmail.com. You don't have to give a large amount of money if it isn't possible. If $1 a month or $1 one time is the best you can pony up, it would be gratefully accepted. I know how hard things are for everybody during COVID. Thank you for all the support you have given the show, whether it is through financial donations or simply by listening. I am grateful for all you have given to me and the program. Enjoy the show. Alright, everybody, welcome to the True Crime News. I'm Morgan Rector.
And I am still Rachel Telfor.
And so how'd you like that last episode, that Earl Nelson, that
Okay,
character? Right?
listen here. You're gonna have to stop doing Cubo. Because
Yeah.
I don't know if I can handle it. I might need to take a break. They're getting worse and worse. Also, I think you might be getting better and better at your delivery. So I'm like, oh, listening. I'm like, okay, cool. Murder, necrophilia, awesome, great. Not, awesome, great, but whatever. Same messed up crap. And then driving to soccer practice, and you get to the baby part.
Mm.
And I'm literally gasping. I'm like, no, Morgan. I'm talking to you over the speaker on my car radio. I'm like, don't do it. Don't say it. Nope. And then, boom.
And I was looking at a picture of him, and I thought to myself, like, if he hadn't been so crazy, he probably actually could have done well with women if he had been normal. He was.
I don't even want to know what he looks like.
He looked normal. He looked like a regular guy, but of course,
Holy shit.
Crazy as a loon because 2 brain injuries, and
Yeah.
it's not like it's not true that a brain injury or some other kind of abnormality in the brain can lead to that kind of behavior.
You know what's funny? I think on our very first episode of True Crime News, I mentioned that, and I got a bunch of shit in the comments, like, everybody who gets frontal lobe damage isn't a murderer. I'm like, I didn't say everybody was. I'm just saying it is one of the factors of many killers.
There could be a lot of. They have
damage.
examined, and it's true of pedophiles as well. They've examined their brains in many cases and found that there are certain characteristics of their brains that are different from the general population. There are a lot of people with brain injuries simply just have disabilities for the rest of their lives. It can complicate their ability to work or can result.
It depends on what part of the brain it is, because each part of the brain handles something differently. That's scientific. So your frontal lobe is where your kind of rational and emotional thought processes happen.
Yeah, and I think also if the temporal lobe is injured, I think the same kind of thing can happen there.
Yeah, so that's why I don't want my kids to play. I'm so okay with them playing soccer, even though you can use your head in soccer, but better than football.
Right.
Hernandez. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I'm gonna do my darkest story first, just to get it out of the way, so I don't just bum everybody out on at the end.
I have actually kind of not a funny one, but like a lighter one from my end as well. So good. That's good.
That's good. Yeah. Okay, so this was an FBI press release. It came out Monday. The headline is "Sex offender sentenced for involvement in child pornography featuring young children, bondage, and acts of violence."
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yep. This is out of Houston. A 39-year-old Houston man has been ordered to federal prison after admitting he received and possessed child pornography. So his name is Leon Travis Beard. He pled guilty December 21st, 2020. Today, U.S. District Judge Kenneth Hoyt sentenced Beard to a total of 200 months of imprisonment. Do you know the math of that? 12 going to 200? I don't know.
I'm a calculator.
That's got to be close to 10 years, maybe.
And why is it 200 months? That's strange.
Yeah, I don't know why they put in those terms. The court considered victim impact statements and took into account Beard's future access to child pornography, noting whether Beard's desire would be stronger than his will. Beard will also serve the rest of his life on supervised release following completion of his prison term, during
16
which
years. 16.666666667.
that's 16 years. Well, that's a good long term, especially considering that you have to be segregated and or
Yeah.
they'll tear you apart. During which time he will have to comply with numerous requirements designed to restrict his access to children and the internet. He will be ordered to register as a sex offender and will have to pay restitution to the victims. In February 2019, law enforcement initiated an investigation of child pornography sharing, which led them to Beard. He was found to be a member and a facilitator of multiple child pornography groups. These people engaged in the distribution of thousands of images and videos. A subsequent forensic analysis resulted in the discovery of approximately 304 videos and 1,008 images of child pornography, including, brace yourself, including of children under the age of 5, bondage, and acts of violence. Beard was distributing, receiving, and possessing child pornography less than a year after his release from state prison for possession of child pornography. He has been and will remain in custody pending transfer to a U.S. Bureau of Prisons facility to be determined in the near future. So speaking of brain or abnormalities, guys like this, they're just programmed for that. He could never be reformed.
Okay, so I'm trying to listen to positive feedback on comments, and I had to bite my tongue to not interrupt you during that story. So, yay me. I'm working on it, guys. First of all, 16 years is not enough. Fuck that shit. Especially, sorry. Cursing, too, was another thing. F that. If he was already in trouble for the same thing, and then you get caught with that amount of child pornography on your computer, especially with children under 5 and bondage, absolutely not, sir. You do not deserve to be out in the rest of society ever again, ever again. So that is not, 16 years is not enough at all. Not even close.
In Texas, a regular rape charge, like if an adult male raped an adult female, he could get 20 years for that, so I don't understand why.
I'm surprised why. Who is the judge? What's the judge's name?
This was Judge Kenneth Hoyt.
Right, Kenneth Hoyt. Give us a call for an interview. I really want to know what was going on there.
Well, it said he pled guilty, and so they're often able.
Sure he got a deal.
Yeah. Otherwise, if it had gone to trial, forget it. He probably would be there for the rest of his life.
He'd probably get the death sentence. It's Texas.
I don't know why lawyers take on those cases if their client's just going to lose. They never win.
Somebody has to.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I mean, if you were a C student in law school, I guess it's a living, right? So.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard some, not very many, but I've heard a couple of defense lawyers who defended, people like that, if not worse. And it was kind of like the psychology, and they had like this whole law reason behind it. But most of them, to be honest, are just arrogant, greedy dickwads. So.
Well, could you be a lawyer if you had low self-esteem? I don't think it would work. Yeah. Like
no, I don't want to say that. I don't want to generalize. All lawyers are not obviously like that. Was it my generalizations?
Was it my cousin Vinny? Before Vinny started being the lawyer, they had this guy who was a really shitty lawyer. He didn't know what he was talking about. He had no confidence or anything. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, so you do have to have a lot of arrogance. I mean, in a lot of like the cases I've covered, it's just, I mean, and then there's the whole thing about like a lot of rape cases where the defense attorney is trying to discredit the victim, and you certainly have to have a big ego to think that to give yourself permission to do that.
So we're generalizing attorneys that defend those sorts of people, because I also know personally, and from listening to true crime news and watching true crime news for many years of my life, that there are passionate attorneys that do genuinely want to help
but they
the
tend
justice system and be good, do something to make changes, and that I totally admire and love.
but they're more likely to become district attorneys, right? To prosecute criminals.
Yeah. Yep.
But see, you and I, we couldn't approach a rape victim, particularly a minor rape victim, on the stand and accuse her of like wanting to be molested, being a little tramp, like a 14 slut. Like I couldn't sleep at night. But
well, not only that, I think that we'd get into, isn't that a crime in and of itself?
Well, no, I mean,
I know, but it just seems like it should be.
Yeah, the perpetrator and his attorney, they're allowed to do it. I mean, I don't think it ever works, but they're allowed to do that, and that's the reason why so many women are reluctant to come forward and press charges, because they know that.
Yeah, why would you want to be put through that?
Yeah,
I mean, this is completely off topic, but I have to say it because for some reason I've been thinking about it for the past couple of weeks, and I want to watch this movie, and it's A Time to Kill with You've never seen it, with Matthew McConaughey?
Is Samuel L. Jackson in that one?
Yes.
Yeah, I never saw it.
Yes. No. So the end of the movie, when Matthew McConaughey gives his speech, it gets me every single time. It is the most powerful closing statement in a movie I've ever heard in my life.
Wasn't he nominated for an Oscar for that movie?
I'm not sure if he was, but it was really a good performance. He did amazing with it.
Is it the film where Sam Jackson says, "Yes, he deserves to die, and I hope he rots in hell"?
Yep, is.
It's a Samuel L. Jackson classic right there.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal. If you have not seen that movie, anyone who's listening, you stop this podcast immediately and go watch that movie, and then come back and finish listening.
I think it might be on Netflix.
Yeah, I think I've seen it everywhere. So yeah, in fact, I think I might watch it tonight when I hang up, because now I have to watch that. It's so good. It's also hard. There's child rape in the movie. So.
Okay, so what's your first story?
Speaking of child rape, no, it's not child rape. So Colorado gun shop owner allegedly kills wife and 2 kids in a suspected murder-suicide. This is actually a brand new story. So there's not a whole lot of information, but there's enough to tell a story. A gun shop owner allegedly killed his wife and 2 of his children on Saturday before taking his own life in the affluent Glen Eagle neighborhood. And again, this is in Colorado. According to a press release from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded to the 1300 block of Player Drive after receiving a report that someone was, quote, seriously injured and needed help. At the scene, 50-year-old Yvette M. Siegbird Krebs, 13-year-old Felicity Krebs, 9-year-old Barrett Krebs, and the suspect, 55-year-old Christoph M. Krebs, were found dead. In response, El Paso County Sheriff's detectives were called out to process the scene. According to the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, an Everbridge, also known as Reverse 911, was sent out. So I guess it's like, instead of going to help somebody, they're going to, here, let me finish. It's warning residents in the community within a 2-mile radius to shelter in place, lock their doors and windows, and stay away from the exterior walls. So essentially, it's telling you to not go near an area instead of.
So this is it's almost like when they issue an Amber Alert, I guess.
No,
sort of deal.
Well, he was armed. They didn't know what happened. They didn't know why he killed and shot, a bunch of people, his family members. So anyway, the alert was reportedly sent out due to, quote, an abundance of caution, end quote, and based on what officers found at the scene. Investigators continued to analyze and collect evidence at the residence while the Everbridge was in place. So that's what it's called. It's called an Everbridge. So that's the Reverse 911. Interesting. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
The cause and manner of death have not yet been released. According to the Gazette, oh God, I don't even know if I want to know. According to the Gazette, Christoph Krebs opened a business called Specialty Sports and Supply in Colorado Springs in 1994. It specializes in firearms and knives, so I don't have a lot of hope for this scene. He and his wife reportedly adopted 6 children from China, including Felicity and Barrett. Most of the adopted children were dwarves. There were reportedly 9 children in all. Felicity was homeschooled, according to the Gazette, and Barrett was the new addition to the family. After her youngest biological son was born with a primordial dwarfism, Yvette reportedly wanted to adopt more children with the same condition, and she found out that many children in China with dwarfism weren't properly taken care of, which doesn't surprise me because China. I mean, if you have a girl, I think they don't allow you to have a girl, like if or
Well, you're
one or
allowed.
something.
It's just, well, women are at a disadvantage there. So,
But I
yeah.
think you're only allowed to have like a certain number of children. If
Well,
I'm not
yeah,
wrong.
yeah, they have the one-child
Somebody,
policy, but
yeah,
it's just like girls are less likely to get the good jobs and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
yeah, having a boy is more advantageous to the family.
Then
And
imagine having a girl with dwarfism.
well, yeah, that too, that wouldn't help her cause at all either.
So apparently the mom did a lot of outreach work. She was like, quote unquote, the pillar of the community. She just was a really awesome woman who did a lot in her community to help raise awareness. So the Gazette reported during the pandemic that Yvette wrote online about how she made masks and kept her children sheltered at home. And she did so because most of them were dwarves, so she thought they were more susceptible. So again, this is a damn near breaking story. So we don't have a lot of information or know why they or how they died yet, but I thought it was interesting seeing he was a gun shop owner.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, but that's a coincidence, Rachel.
Oh,
People
sorry.
make their whole fucking lives about guns,
Oh, I'm
businesses that
sorry.
sell nothing but guns and obsessed with guns. Yeah, that how they're unlikely to ever shoot anyone. I know, boy, they're going to be pissed off about that one, aren't they? Yeah, there's no.
I'm already First of all, I'm laughing because you're hilarious. Second of all, I'm also laughing because I cannot wait for the comment.
Oh yeah,
And
I'm
third
gonna
of all,
lose
I mean, it's
a
kind of
few
correct.
listeners. Yeah,
So whatever.
yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah, statistics say that murders and suicides are more likely to happen in households where a gun is on the premises. But fuck statistics, fuck the truth. So
Yeah, fuck the truth. Fuck
yeah, forget the
statistics.
truth.
That's not science at all.
Just pull reality out of your ass.
Please pull it out of your asshole. That's totally
The
fine.
place where you were literally full of shit. Yeah. Yeah.
You're on point tonight. What did you eat for dinner again?
Donaires.
Yes.
For those
Oh,
listeners who don't know what that is, it's think of the how do you pronounce it? A gyro, a gyro.
it depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah,
Gyro, gyro,
it's
gyro.
the Greek
Whatever.
thing. So they
Yeah.
take pita and they put down this shaven meat from a spit. Well, it's similar to that, except instead of lamb, it's beef, and the sauce instead of tzatziki sauce, they put this like much more viscous, sweet, garlicky sauce on it. And I had that for dinner, and tastes great. I love donaires, but the thing is, they sit in your stomach like a brick, and you're tired for like 2 or 3 hours, like
And I
you're.
can barely see, so me and Morgan are really on point tonight.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious though, and way better than a gyro because I don't even like them because I don't
Yeah.
eat lamb.
You ever come to Canada? I mean, I'll make sure you have a donaire or two.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Well, I can send you the sauce. That you can buy it online. So maybe I'll send you that for Christmas or something.
I think I owe you like 47 presents before you send me anything else.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Well.
another thing I'm not supposed to say is but that's really hard
Oh,
to do.
like why?
Like why? Like oh yeah, me sounding like a valley girl. That's another one of my favorites. I wish you guys saw me in all of my completely redneck, bare feet, horrible area because I am so far from that, which is why it makes me laugh out loud. it's cute that you think that, though. I appreciate it, kind of.
Well, I've seen women in the news, like the anchors, who are making big salaries, but who are not as entertaining as you. So
Oh, thanks,
put
man.
that out there.
Well, no, there's more good than bad, so
Like
I just like
Barbara
to think.
Walters, who was
Yeah.
hugely overrated. I mean, it was a big novelty in the 70s that she was on a primetime news show because normally it was just men. But that doesn't mean she's more gifted than anyone else.
No, it doesn't, but she is kind of legend. I'm not gonna lie.
But yeah, but
Her
if she came
and
up,
Tom Brokaw, like, if they're to speak, oh, I said that again. Like, if they were to speak, I would immediately know their voices. That's
it
how
is true.
distinct it is from my childhood.
But if she had started out like 30 years after that, she wouldn't really stand out. You know what I mean? Like
True,
she,
but you have to appreciate the people who paved the way for women,
yeah.
and that's why we respect her, because she did do that when it was hard, and I'm sure she got a lot of shit from a lot of men, but she
Oh,
did
no
some.
doubt. Well, look at all
So
the shit I've gotten for having women
yeah,
on
no
my.
kidding. Case in point.
Yeah.
So she was a trailblazer. That's what I was looking for, and that's why she's respected.
All right.
So
So
wow,
going
we've
to my
lost a
next.
lot of audience probably.
Oh well.
Fuck it. Oh, I mean, frick it. Edit that
All
out.
right. So my next story. This is actually another one that has to do with sexual abuse,
Oh,
but
great.
it's a vigilante story. It's a very righteous story. I think everyone's going to like this one.
Okay.
Washington dad murders daughter's boyfriend for selling her into sex trafficking ring. So this is pretty cool. The Seattle Police
yeah.
Department announced on Monday that a Spokane, Washington man has been arrested for the murder of his daughter's boyfriend. According to the Spokesman Review, 60-year-old suspect John Eisenman rescued his daughter from a sex trafficking ring in Seattle last year, then became a vigilante by killing the man who sold her into it. Andrew Sorensen had been reported missing in November 2020, and his whereabouts remained a mystery until residents of the 1800 block on East Everett Avenue rummaged through an abandoned car on October 22nd and found his body. According to Fox News, arriving police noticed a foul odor emanating from the mold-covered car. The body was bound with zip ties, and Sorensen's mouth was taped shut. Puncture marks on his clothing suggested he was stabbed. Police contacted the car's registered owner, who was none other than Eisenman's fiancée. That's when authorities learned the couple had gone on a mission to rescue their daughter last October, convinced that Sorensen earned $1,000 for selling her off. According to NBC News, Eisenman had bludgeoned him with a cinder block before stabbing him to death, with a stolen car only surfacing now. Police said that when John Eisenman's daughter went missing, he obtained information that Andrew Sorensen was responsible. Their daughter had not even been 18 years old when she vanished, with Eisenman discovering she had been forced into prostitution in Seattle and that Sorensen profited. Eisenman and his fiancée Brenda Cross miraculously managed to find their child and bring her to safety. It was only a few weeks later, however, that her boyfriend disappeared. Eisenman apparently admitted that he had killed someone to a neighbor who called Crime Check after he realized authorities paid Eisenman and Cross a visit in late October. Eisenman initially claimed that his fiancée's green 1991 Honda Accord had been stolen, but was arrested on October 29th following his neighbor's revelations. While the Spokane County Medical Examiner's Office still lists Sorensen's cause of death as pending, Eisenman came clean under interrogation with the macabre details. Eisenman had tracked Sorensen to the Airway Heights neighborhood of Seattle's last autumn and confronted him on the street. He then tied him up and abducted him before hitting him over the head with the cinder block and repeatedly stabbing him in the abdomen. Eisenman drove the vehicle to a remote area in North Spokane County and abandoned the car with the body still inside. The vehicle remained at that location until it was moved in October 2021 by a third party and driven to Spokane. At this point, it is not believed the third party knew the body was in the trunk. Sorensen's body was discovered 10 days before the one-year anniversary of his missing persons report. Local resident Amber Hellman said that her boyfriend and his friend were curious about the vehicle and couldn't help but inspect its contents on October 22nd. It was there for like 3 days, so they went to go check it out because it had been sitting there for a while, and they noticed the ignition was dangling, so obviously stolen, and they were just looking around, and for some reason they decided to look in the trunk, and all I hear is, "There's a body." In the end, the vigilante father was handcuffed 2 days before Halloween and charged with first-degree murder. According to Spokane County Detention Services, his bond was set at $1 million. Meanwhile, a GoFundMe has been set up to pay for his legal expenses, with many donors calling him a hero. Well, I would be inclined to agree, and I hope that the judge of his trial, I don't know if what he's done so far counts as a guilty plea, but I hope the judge presiding over his trial is a father, so he would understand and maybe go a little light on him, because I think any parent would at least be tempted to do that, right?
Okay, so I have notes.
Yeah.
So I listened to the whole thing without commenting, and actually, listeners, you are correct. You are more into the story when I'm not interrupting. That being said, I also have horrible ADHD, so I had to literally write notes down as he said the story so I could remember what I want to go back and talk about.
Okay.
Number one. So it said he obtained information. Eisenman did, the dad. Was it at all in any way, shape, or form proven that Sorensen did this?
Yeah, well, he admitted it. They interrogated him, and yeah,
No, the son,
Um.
the one who sold his
Oh, was
daughter
it
into
proven that he
slavery.
did it?
Yes.
Yeah, let me go back.
See, that's why I want to comment along the way, guys, because then he'll have to go back. But you're right. The story is better when he goes on. So thank you.
Yeah, let me.
But now I have questions.
Um,
So it said he obtained info that Sorensen had sold his daughter into slavery, and that he got paid for it.
Oh, you know what? Because it said they were the father and his wife were convinced that her boyfriend,
See?
but they didn't.
Were convinced.
Yeah, it's not like the people who process those transactions keep records.
There was no
Yeah.
proof he
Yeah.
had of this. So that is my only thing. I understand the rage, and if it was proven that he did this to his daughter, absolutely 100% I would be donating.
Yeah,
However, I
Yeah.
didn't hear anything in that article that said it was proven. He obtained info, which where did he obtain his information? It didn't say. It wasn't legal. He wasn't charged. They were just assuming.
Yeah, and I know that there's this whole thing with fathers of daughters where basically any guy they date is going to be seen as suspect.
Okay, it's not just fathers and daughters, because I am a mother of 2 sons, and I will tell you right now, that little cute meme they post all the time that says, "I'll be polishing my shotgun when you come pick my daughter up." I post back and say, "I'll tell you what, if you wave a shotgun in my son's face when he comes to pick up your daughter, I will come burn your house down."
Oh yeah. I mean,
Do not.
like I like what's that actor's name? He was in Stand By Me. He was the chubby one. He was Joe's apartment. Jerry O'Connell, that's his name.
Jerry O'Connell, there you go. Jerry
Yeah.
O'Connell. Oh,
So he has two daughters. He has two daughters, and they're little girls right now. And he was joking about it. He was saying, he said he's going to say to them, "Just could you wait until I die until you start having sex?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. No kidding.
So men are really intense about their daughters in that
They
way. So,
but I'm saying I'm equally as intense about my son. So.
But not every human trafficker starts out as a boyfriend.
Exactly.
A lot of those women are like drug addicts, and basically, they'll do anything to keep getting high, and so sometimes a pimp will capitalize on that situation. So
there's a lot of unknown information here, so that's my problem. So
yeah,
it was just Eisenman, the dad, and his fiance suspecting Sorensen, the boyfriend, and now we don't know, and we'll never know because he's dead. So I don't know where I stand on that one.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I guess they should.
I would need a lot more information.
Yeah,
I would want to know that he had some solid evidence. If he had solid evidence, sure, okay.
yeah, because if your child's been murdered, was she murdered or?
No, she lived.
Oh, she's alive.
They tracked him down, found her. Which, by the way, I'll say this: this man is also a badass.
Did the girl say
This
that?
man is a badass.
Did his daughter tell him that she?
It didn't say.
Oh,
No,
because
Yep, he tracked him down. See, you guys, I do. When I listen, I actually learn stuff. Oh my gosh, it's so true. I'm learning from our audience. Holy shit.
does he because I know like if you know if
They
your
tracked
child.
him down, tied him up. They did a lot of research here. This guy was all in, so I respect the hell out of that. You'd
Well,
like to think that he had some solid evidence.
Well, if she's alive and she is, then maybe she did say something like that. Then, but
that's what I'm thinking.
And I know if you're a parent of a child who's been subjected to that kind of thing, you're not going to be rational. You're just going to fly off the handle.
Wait a second. I kind of answered my own question. If he tracked her down and saved her, that's why he knows.
Yeah, I guess so.
Surely she told him. Okay, never mind. I'm with him. We'll donate.
I mean, it doesn't make it okay to murder the guy. It doesn't make well, I mean, morally, but legally, no.
No, unfortunately, no. But like you said, hopefully there is a judge who's a parent and can give a little leniency.
Yeah. I mean, if the judge has to send him to jail, maybe just give him like 10 years, a few years off for good behavior or something.
Yeah.
All right. What's your next story?
Okay, I'm going to go. It's a little bit of a longer story, but it's super interesting. So this is from Oklahoma. Excuse me, Oklahoma. McAllister, Oklahoma, in particular. And this story came out on October 28th, so last week. And the title it's from the Associated Press. It's Oklahoma executes inmate who dies of vomiting and convulsing. All right, let's dive in. Oklahoma administered the death penalty Thursday on a man who convulsed and vomited as he was executed for the 1998 slaying of a prison cafeteria worker, ending a 6-year execution moratorium brought on by concerns over its execution methods. John Marion Grant, 60, who was strapped to a gurney inside the execution chamber, began convulsing and vomiting after the first drug, the sedative midazolam, was administered. Several minutes later, 2 members of the execution team wiped the vomit from his face and neck. Before the curtain was raised to allow witnesses to see into the execution chamber, Grant could be heard yelling, "Let's go, let's go, let's go." He delivered a stream of profanities before the lethal injection started. He was declared unconscious about 15 minutes after the first of the 3 drugs were administered and declared dead about 6 minutes after that at 4:21. Someone vomiting while being executed is rare, according to observers. Quote, "I've never heard or seen of that," end quote, said Robert Dunham, executive director of the Nonpartisan Death Penalty Information Center. Quote, "It's notable and unusual." Michael Graysick, a retired Associated Press reporter who still covers executions for the organization on a freelance basis, has witnessed the death penalty being carried out about 450 times. He said Thursday he could only recall 1 instance of someone vomiting while being put to death. The Oklahoma Attorney General and Governor did not respond to questions about Grant's reactions to the drugs. In fact, the Department of Corrections spokesman Justin Wolf said by email that the execution, quote, "was carried out in accordance with Oklahoma Department of Corrections protocols and without complication," end quote. A statement from Republican Governor Kevin Stitt referenced a section of the Oklahoma Constitution in which voters overwhelmingly enshrined the death penalty. Quote, "Today, the Department of Corrections carried out the law of the state of Oklahoma and delivered justice to Gay Carter's family," Stitt said. Grant was the first person in Oklahoma to be executed since a series of flawed lethal injections in 2014 and 2015. He was serving a 130-year prison sentence for several armed robberies when witnesses say he dragged prison cafeteria worker Gay Carter into a mop closet and stabbed her 16 times with a homemade shank. He was sentenced to die in 1999. So Oklahoma moved forward with a lethal injection after the U.S. Supreme Court in a 5-3 decision lifted the stays of execution that were put in place on Wednesday for Grant and another death row inmate, Julius Jones, by the 10th U.S. Judicial Court of Circuit Court of Appeals. Where did I go? The state's Pardon and Parole Board twice denied Grant's request for clemency, including a 3-2 vote this month to reject his recommendation for life to be spared. Oklahoma had one of the nation's busiest death chambers until problems in 2014 and 15 led to the de facto moratorium. Richard Glossip, just hours away from being executed in September 2015 when prison officials realized they received the wrong lethal drug. It was later learned that the same wrong drug had been used to execute an inmate in January of 2015. The drug mix-ups followed a botched execution in April 2014 in which inmate Clayton Lockett struggled on a gurney before dying 43 minutes into his lethal injection. And after the state's prison's chief ordered executioners to stop after that. So while in the moratorium, Oklahoma moved ahead with plans to use nitrogen gas to execute inmates, but ultimately they scrapped the idea and they decided to go back to the 3-drug protocol system, which is midazolam, which is a sedative, oh Lord have mercy, I said this earlier and I said it right. Vicuronium bromide, that's the paralytic, and then potassium chloride, which stops the heart. The prison officials recently announced that they had confirmed a source to supply all the drugs needed for Grant's execution, plus 6 more than were scheduled to take place through March. So they're like, okay, we found a better supplier, so we have all the correct drugs we need to do the lethal injection. And then the Department of Corrections said, quote, extensive validations and redundancies have been implemented since the last execution in order to ensure that the process works as intended. Yeah, so it's an interesting way of, I guess, if you know it's not working and you had these issues and now you just started again and you're having another issue. I don't know.
They can't give him the chair.
I don't know what their law is there because it's just, it varies state by state.
Yeah.
But there was so there's Dale Bake, an attorney for some of the death row inmates in a suit, said eyewitnesses' accounts of Grant's lethal injection show Oklahoma's death penalty protocol isn't working as it was designed. Quote, this is why the U.S. Supreme Court should not have lifted the stay, he said in a statement. There should be no more executions in Oklahoma until we go to trial in February to address the state's problematic lethal injection protocol, end quote, which I agree with. I'm trying to skip ahead because this is so long. Pamela Carter, who also worked at the prison and was there. Oh, so this is a woman who was there the day that the lady was killed, that the defendant killed. So apparently it was said that they were having an intimate relationship and that he was mad that he ended the relationship, and that's why he killed her. In the prison. Yeah, he killed her in the prison. She was a cafeteria worker, and he pulled her into a broom closet and stabbed her with a shank.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, don't date any inmates.
Yeah, please.
Not a good idea. Yeah.
So it says, quote, John Grant took full responsibility of the murder of Gay Carter, and he spent his years on death row trying to understand and atone for his actions. More than any other client I have worked with. This is his attorney, Sarah Jernigan. And this was Thursday after the execution. Grant's attorneys argued that key facts about the crime and Grant's troubled childhood were never presented to the jury. They maintained that Grant developed deep feelings for Carter and was upset when she fired him after he got in a fight with another kitchen worker. So the jurors never got to hear that part of the side of the defense, that they maybe or may not have had a relationship. I guess he had some severe childhood trauma. Gay's daughter says, quote, "I understand he's trying to save his life, but you keep victimizing my mother with these stupid allegations," end quote. She told the Pardon and Parole Board this month, quote, "My mother was vivacious. She was friendly. She didn't meet a stranger. She treated her workers just as you would on a job on the outside. For someone to take advantage of this is heinous." So, yeah, he's dead. And the state of Oklahoma has some serious problems with their lethal injection protocol.
Did I ever before mention the prison inmate who got like 4 female guards pregnant?
I don't know, but ew.
Yeah, there was this guy who did that. Yep.
Ew.
He was a member of the Black Gorilla family, and 4 female guards got pregnant.
Disgusting.
I guess they're into the bad boys, I suppose.
Okay, you have all of the people, all of the men, literally all of them that are not incarcerated to choose from. You guys don't choose those ones, please.
Well, a lot of criminals seem to have a way with women, so.
Yeah, although orange is the new black, so.
Well, there was that guy a few years ago. He was arrested and he became a model. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I still follow him on Instagram.
Oh yeah, and turned his life around, getting arrested.
Yeah, he really did, and he's still very attractive. I'll think of his name in a minute. But yeah, I thought that was interesting that Oklahoma has had a stay on executions up until because of this issue, and then the first one they did, it was botched.
Damn.
Yeah.
There was a movie that came out in the 90s. It was a horror movie. I'm wondering if you know what it was. There's a scene, this guy gets electrocuted on the electric chair.
The Green Mile?
No, it wasn't that. The first time they did it, he didn't die, and he said, "That just gave me a hard-on."
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, you don't remember that? Oh, okay. I always think of that.
That wasn't in our Papo movies list of some sort.
I'll ask Ray. He might know what that is. He seems to.
He knows
everything about
every movie.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Same with Michelle. She's seen a lot of horror movies.
Yeah, man. They knew a lot more. I was like, I felt kind of stupid. I'm like, wow, I really need to go back and watch these old horror movies because they're just quoting the shit out of it. And I'm like, I'm a true crime fan. But I guess that's not true crime, so that's why I'm not as into it.
Yeah.
I do know every Forensic Files episode, so.
Oh, wow. Okay, so my next one, the headline goes, Texas mom was murdered by stalker who claimed he'd paid her thousands at strip club, according to police.
Wow.
Stanley Saliga complained he paid Abigail Saldone thousands of dollars at her strip club before killing her. Just hours before she was shot dead, Saliga posted on Instagram that he had paid her $3,000, accusing her of being a prostitute, an arrest warrant affidavit claims. According to the warrant, when detectives found her car with her dead body inside, they also found clothes consistent with those worn by exotic dancers inside. Since the shooting happened near Rick's Cabaret strip club, they approached the manager to see if he knew the victim. He confirmed she worked there, but not on the night of the murder. The manager told police she had recently been harassed by a customer he knew as Stan. Police say that before Saldana was killed, Saliga posted on Instagram, "I never thought I'd be one of those guys taken advantage of, sharing for awareness. Abigail S. and I, since July 2021, we have been enjoying each other's company. She's so beautiful and personable that I envisioned a future with her. But dealing with all the lies is overwhelming. I realize that's part of your primary job as an adult entertainer. If you only leave your second job, being in a high-end prostitution ring, we could move forward. Yes, this pays $2,000 per session, but it's illegal, and having a boyfriend whilst having sex with other men. So this is one of the jackasses that thinks the prostitute or that the stripper and him have a real connection, and they just giving her money, and it's her fucking job.
He's a freaking moron. He's a freaking moron.
Strippers are actresses, basically. It's all an act. You know, the lap dances, the dancing, flirting. It's all an act. They're trying to get your money because all the money they make.
You're literally going there to pay women to dance for you.
Well, yeah,
they're going to do anything they can to get the most money out of you.
The strippers, they don't get wages, they don't get salaries. All the money they make comes from lap dances and all that other shit.
By the way, everyone who goes to strip clubs is an idiot. I've been to strip clubs. I still would go. So, sorry.
You went to watch men strip?
No.
You went to watch women strip? Well, you see, that's why you feel that way, though. You're not interested in watching women strip, right?
I appreciate women stripping.
Have you gone?
I appreciate all kinds of beauty.
Have you gone to see like the Chippendales or anything?
Not Chippendales, but there is a really awesome male review in West Palm Beach or Fort Lauderdale. I can't remember. Somebody, if you know it, tell me what it is. And it was freaking outstanding.
Oh, did it turn you on?
Nah, it didn't turn me on. Like, you don't get like wet watching it. You guys get boners, but yeah, it was very entertaining, and some of them were super hot. I was in my 20s. This wasn't recently, so.
Well, I have yet to meet a woman who's dating a male stripper. Never.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever date a male stripper. That's okay.
So yeah, going onwards, he claimed to have he made other Zelle payments. What is that? Is that like PayPal or something?
It's like Cash App or Apple.
Oh, okay.
Like whatever one Venmo. Yeah, like Venmo. Zelle.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because a lot of these services are not offered in other countries. So yeah, he claimed he had made other Zelle payments to her of $200, $800, and $1,000. So not only did he not just pay for lap dances, he's just giving her money, and he's
so stupid.
What's she gonna do? Turn it away? I mean,
no.
I mean, a lot of these
job.
And a lot of these girls are on drugs. I'm not saying they all are, but I think a lot of them are addicted to drugs.
Some of them actually live really great lives and make way more money than I do, and drive nicer cars and live in nicer places. So
a lot of them put themselves through university by doing
of men like that.
Yeah. So license plate reader records showed that the Saliga had followed Saldana at times and was recorded at the same intersection as her. On the day of the shooting, police called Saliga and asked him to come in, and he agreed. He then claimed there was a death in the family and agreed to come in later, but never did. When detectives called to his home, he refused to come out. Police say he then shot himself in the neck before he was brought up by officers.
Oh my God.
Oh man, tried to commit suicide to get out of it, and then just injured himself. So that makes everything worse, of course. A young Texas mother who found a tracking device on her car 2 weeks ago has been found shot. Oh, wait, did I? Oh, for some reason, the headline appeared for a second time. So, yeah. Okay, so here's an account of what it was like for her to find it. So this is from before she died. She said in a video, "This was literally on my car like this." She explained in the video showing the magnetic device stuck under the rear bumper of her car. "This is why you have to be careful. I don't really know what to do moving forward with this, but this definitely looks like a tracker to me." She then takes the device home and opens up the protective case. So this is so crazy, you guys. So crazy. Like, who would do this? 2 weeks later, the mother of one was dead. Responding to reports of a car crash on Amon Carter Boulevard on Tuesday night, Fort Worth police found the 22-year-old in her silver sedan, stopped on a grassy verge beside the road. She had been shot once, the bullet going through her right arm and into her back. Saldana was pronounced dead at the scene. Her death has been ruled a homicide. 911 caller reported seeing the car speeding on the highway before it suddenly veered off. They said the rear windshield appeared to have a bullet hole, and there appeared to be no one in the moving car. On Thursday, police arrested 54-year-old Stanley Zaliga for murder. He's being held on a $250,000 bond. So, I mean, that's kind of stupidity is built for life.
So Oh, I have so many thoughts. Let me get them together. This guy is an absolute loser. A
in
total loser.
in a very durable kind of way. Yeah,
No, he's
like
a
like like it's in his
horrible
genes.
loser.
It's in his genes almost. It seems like this guy just he couldn't grow. He's 54 years old and he still couldn't move past. Like you, if you're 19 and you think the stripper's in love with you,
Yeah,
well,
he's got
you're
some issue. He's got some parenting, mommy. I don't even know. I don't know
or
what kind
maybe
of
you're just
mental illness, but he's
or you're
got some of it.
naive. You're young and naive. You're
He's
kind of
not young. He's
with it, but
54 years old, going after a 22-year-old who thinks they have a future together.
no, I'm talking about like
You're,
I mean, like if you were 19, maybe you
oh
could
yeah,
kind of get a look. People
okay,
could give you a bit of a pass. You're
yeah,
young, you're stupid, you're naive. But
yeah.
if, at the age of 54,
Get it together, dude.
yeah.
You're
Uh,
you've lost, and you know what? You couldn't even freaking kill yourself right. Like you're seriously the worst. You're the worst, and you took a mother away from her baby who, you don't know what that woman was like. It's just because she was a stripper doesn't mean she was a bad person. She was fucking killing it. You were giving her your money, you stupid moron.
Sadly, the girl
So
didn't
he's gonna.
report to the police. Like her mother wanted her to, but
I
she
wish he
didn't.
would have, man. That sucks really bad. So he in the hospital still then, I wonder? I mean, he's being charged with first-degree murder,
Yeah,
so
he's
that's
alive.
good. Well, I hope
Uh,
he can't talk or something. I hope he has a
yeah,
whip.
but her mother was quoted as saying he can't hurt anyone and he's going to have to answer to me why he took my daughter, and I'm not going to stop. I will fight and I will fight. He took my pride, he took my joy. So he's in the pink and he's going to face the music.
Good.
Yeah. All right.
Douche canoe.
Yeah.
I'm
What's
not
your
gonna stop using that so everyone can deal with it. How many
uh,
stories do you have left, by the way?
I have let me see, one, two,
Two?
yeah, two stories. Yep.
All right, I have three and I have to do them all, so. But the two of them are super short.
Yep. All right.
So my next one, what should I go with? This one, this one. All right, I'm gonna go with the worst one because then I can lift you up with better ones. Because everyone, if you don't like animal cruelty, turn the show off immediately. This is a California man who was sentenced to, and I'm doing this because of this, 2 years in prison for slitting a dog's throat and then posting it on social media.
Fuck.
Wait, no. We're gonna dissect this when I'm done telling the story because there's so much. It's short, but there's a lot. Riverside, California. A 19-year-old man was sentenced to 2 years in federal prison on Monday for slitting a dog's throat and posting video of the incident on social media. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Central District of California, on February 13th, Angel Ramos Corrales assaulted Canelo, his pet dog, causing severe injuries to the dog's head and torso, including fractures to the skull and rib. The Riverside Police Department identified Canelo as a Chihuahua.
Mm.
Quote, the dog's injuries caused it to continuously fall headfirst, end quote, according to a release from the U.S. Attorney's Office. Ramos Corrales reportedly recorded the incident and posted it on his Instagram account. The same day, the U.S. Attorney's Office said in a release that Ramos Corrales slit Canelo's throat by just under 2 inches. Canelo reportedly lost consciousness as Ramos Corrales recorded a video and posted it to Snapchat. Among Ramos Corrales' statements on his Snapchat video, he said, quote, I'm cold-hearted, end quote, as he kicked the barely living Canelo. Authorities arrived at Ramos Corrales' home where the Riverside County Department of Animal Services took Canelo into custody. Though Canelo was still alive, the dog was reportedly euthanized due to the nature of his injuries. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, several months later on June 3rd, Ramos Corrales pled guilty on one felony count of animal crushing. One felony count of animal crushing. That's a count. That's a official charge, I guess. He was sentenced to prison on Monday by the United States District Judge John F. Walter. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, prosecutors wrote in the sentencing memorandum, Ramos Corrales' offense of conviction with a gruesome act of violence, which he committed with wanton disregard of the life of his puppy, Canelo. By the very nature and circumstances of Ramos Corrales' violent offense, he has shown himself to be capable of, quote, cold-hearted, end quote, cruelty, as he himself admitted. The FBI worked alongside the Riverside Police Department and ultimately decided federal prosecutors would file the case. And yet, he only got 2 years. And he's 19, and he's killing animals.
Well, that's how a lot of serial killers start out. So
Thank you, Morgan. Ding, 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 ding.
You know what? I hope that they provide him with some mental health care or something.
Probably not, because
Go to work on him
at mental health care, and there's waiting lists for that. And second of all, keep this man in your Google alerts, because I'm gonna guarantee you that in about 3 years, he's probably gonna do something else.
Well, I mean, there are hospitals for the criminally insane where they put people like this in there because they have to, because it's like an urgent matter. Whereas in prison, there's lots of mentally ill people in prison, and they don't usually get that much care.
And it's California, so I don't know.
Yeah,
They might have a.
I mean, if he only has the capacity to kill animals and no human beings, well, then in prison.
He said he's cold-hearted.
Well, if he's
picked a barely living dog that he sliced the throat of.
Well, if he's like a textbook sociopath or psychopath, yeah, they need to put him in treatment, because he needs to understand.
There's something wrong with him.
Yeah, because I mean that's how people are able to kill. It's not about being angry at someone. It's about having the capacity to do it and feel no remorse, no empathy, and clearly he has none.
Well, obviously, since he posted it on social media and said I'm cold-hearted while kicking a dead, dying, bleeding dog, a baby chihuahua, like not a baby, a little chihuahua.
Yeah, I believe him.
So, okay. Anyway, sorry guys, that was pretty harsh.
All right, so my next one, does your children's school have someone called a safety officer?
Yes, all schools do. School
resource
officer, SRO.
I don't know if we have them in Canada or not. I guess you need them because of all the school shootings in the States. But
oh, that's a great sentence, isn't it?
Was
Go
it?
USA.
Well, do you know when they started installing them in schools? These people?
Oh my God! Ever since I can remember being in school, we've had an SRO. I mean, I guess the first memory I have is in middle school, but my elementary school definitely has one. He's always out front. During drop-off, pickup, he's there all day long.
Well, I'll tell you about a safety officer who couldn't have screwed up worse. So the headline is: School safety officer charged with murder of teen mom shot in head while driving away from fight. So Eddie Gonzalez has been charged with the murder of Manuela Mona Rodriguez. The 51-year-old school safety officer is accused of shooting the unarmed teen mom in the back of the head as she drove away from a fight with another teenager last month. We must hold accountable the people we have placed in positions of trust to protect us, said the district attorney. That is especially true for the armed personnel we traditionally have relied upon to guard our children on their way to and from and at school. Rodriguez was taken off life support 1 week after the shooting. Gonzalez is set to appear in court on Friday for arraignment. So yeah, and this is connected actually to, this is kind of a two-part story, and the second part is kind of like a prequel. So yeah, an 18-year-old mother has been left brain dead after a school safety officer shot her in the back of the head. So yeah, she had a 5-month-old
on school property. Was it on school property?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think so.
I would think so too. I don't think he'd follow them off.
So yeah, she had a 5-month-old son and was driving away after a fight from a 15-year-old girl when he opened fire, and she was in the passenger seat. The 20-year-old father of her child is an Indian name. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but Rafael Chowdhury, and his 16-year-old brother were also in the car at the time. Neither of them were hurt. The shooting occurred near Milliken High School in Long Beach on Monday. afternoon and not on school grounds. It was
Oh,
Yeah, it was captured by witness on cell phone camera, and
well, how the hell did? Okay.
let me see. Um, so yeah,
I wonder if we can find the video.
the officer was initially placed on administrative lead while they investigated it, but ultimately, I guess they saw the video.
Yeah.
So yeah, so well,
Well,
you
that's
think,
kind of terrifying.
yeah, how are you gonna look at that guy now, huh? You're gonna
Well,
trust
not only
him?
that, but it's like I feel safe because my school resource officer is there every morning and every afternoon when I get my kids. So, I mean, I'm not joking because of what we do. I sometimes because of my anxiety disorder, I overthink everything. So I a lot of times, probably at least once a week, have a fear of leaving my children at school just because of leaving them at school.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. It's really sad. But I mean, you're like, what if you're that person? Everyone says it's never going to happen to me. So I think about that kind of stuff. So having a school resource officer shoot a child is pretty shitty.
Well, I mean, lots of people in positions of trust end up abusing children, uh,
Yep,
but we can't just go through life being paranoid, I guess. So
exactly. It's my anxiety disorder that I cannot put onto my kids. So I just keep it to myself
yeah,
and tell you
exactly.
guys, you're welcome.
Yeah, you don't want to frighten your sons because then they would.
No,
I mean,
never.
they probably don't even enjoy school as it is, but
Oh no, they love
paranoid
school.
about that. They like it.
Yeah, they love it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hated it. Okay, so what's your next story?
So my next story is a Halloween story, because why not? Even though it's over, still is the season. And I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. I had a phenomenal Halloween, even though ugh, I did have a family member who died the same day, but you know, you have to enjoy each day in the present. And I took my kids out and they were zombies and they were epic. And I almost quit my job the next day to open a candy factory.
Yeah.
That's how much candy they got. So,
So what is there a real incident of people putting razor blades in candy or?
nope, it's not at all that. It's completely something you're not. This is so ridiculous. I can't even stand it. Okay, so Utah, good old state of Utah. Isn't it cold there right now, by the way? Utah sex offender arrested for allegedly greeting trick-or-treaters naked.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a trick, I believe.
This is the fucking greatest story, worst story, but okay. Provo, Utah. A 48-year, sorry,
Was
I'm
there little
really
was the
slap
little
happy. I've been working since 7:30 this morning. So,
did you wear like a tiny puppet stage or
no, wait, dude, it's so good. This is like this most cliche bullshit. A 40-year-old registered sex offender was arrested Saturday for allegedly greeting trick-or-treaters naked. KSL TV reported that 3 children under 14 and 5 over 14 went trick-or-treating at 460 South 1144 East shortly after 6:50 p.m. Stephen Kelly Little allegedly opened the door and was naked. Provo Police Master Officer Austin Williams told KSL that Little was, quote, beckoning children inside. Some of the children reportedly told their parents about the incident, and one of the fathers alerted police. According to KTVX, one of the trick-or-treaters reportedly took a video of Little answering the door in the nude and asking them to come inside. A father showed it to police when they arrived on scene. KSL reported Little told Williams and officers he was at the door naked because, quote, he said he had just got out of the shower, end quote. When asked why he had invited the children inside, Little allegedly explained, quote, that's where the candy was, end quote.
Oh boy.
Little was arrested and charged with multiple counts of felony lewdness and felony lewdness involving a child. He was placed on a 72-hour hold at the Utah County Jail by the Utah Department of Corrections, Adult Probation and Parole. Little was reportedly serving probation for lewdness involving a child from a past charge. KSL reported prior to the trick-or-treating incident, Little was arrested on September 22nd, 2018 for watching a 10-year-old child use the bathroom at a Prevost recreation center. He made sexually suggestive sounds and touched himself, according to the charging documents. Little pleaded guilty in March of 2019 to lewdness involving a child and was ordered to serve a year in jail. However, that jail time was reportedly suspended and he was given 3 years of probation. So, good job, legal system.
Oh, did you hear my sound effect?
I did. Good job. Claps. Good job, legal system. Good job.
Yeah. Oh, well, there are 2 costumes you must never wear at Halloween. One is an Adolf Hitler outfit. You can't do that one.
No.
And then your birthday suit. You can't do it. Even if they made like a suit that was like onesie pajamas, but had like a photo of genitals or something. I don't.
Yeah, that's even not okay.
Yeah.
Unless you're going to like an adult party and it's,
Yeah, even if it was like crocheted, even if it was like knit with yarn, like a fabric vagina or whatever.
But how cliche is this weird, disgusting old like man saying there's candy in the house, kids. I just got out of the shower. You are a freaking lunatic. This guy is not going to stop. He's sick. Put him in freaking jail and do not let him out. He's a registered sex offender. He's jerking off to kids and flipping 10-year-olds and exact case in point. Yeah.
How old did you say he was?
He is 48.
48. Oh wow, that just makes it so much more aesthetically pleasing, doesn't it?
I'm telling you what, dude.
Well, I mean, you know what? Would it be as appalling if a woman did that?
Probably not. Not according to media, no.
Because the outrage doesn't seem to be as commensurate. I mean, it would be wrong, it would be illegal, it would be inappropriate.
Yep.
But
they wouldn't have gotten the attention. Well, it might have, but for the wrong reason.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I mean, people, I think in a way they're probably more uncomfortable because if a woman's naked in public, it's usually because she's lost her mind or something. Whereas if a man's naked in public, he's just being a perv. But I think it's because the woman like had a breakdown or something.
Well, unless you're at Burning Man.
Streets. Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, so
the nudity is normalized.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
My last story was an update on the story I did. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but so remember the story about the couple who left their children alone for long periods of time, and one of them died.
Yes. Oh,
so
yeah. Update. I'm so excited.
The mother has done an interview from jail. This is rich, I tell you. So.
Can you remind us? Do you have like a? Does
yeah.
It go over, okay, it goes over it.
Yeah. The data from the previous stories is in there. So
perfect.
Lori Williams has given a jailhouse interview in which she now claims she didn't know her son was dead. Speaking from Harris County Jail, she told KHOU 11, "I'm sorry, I didn't do it." When asked if she knew her 8-year-old son Kendrick Lee was dead, she replied no. This contradicts what investigators say she told them. They say she admitted she knew her boyfriend had beaten him to death in November of last year, and that she didn't raise the alarm because he told her not to. She's accused of altering, destroying, and concealing the body to get rid of evidence. When asked why she abandoned the children, she insisted, "I checked on them every 2 weeks." So she didn't elaborate as to why she didn't notice her son's decomposing body during her bi-weekly visits. KHOU also spoke to one of the children's paternal grandmothers, Melody Robinson, who said she had no idea what was going on inside the Houston apartment. She said Williams has 6 children in total, ranging in age from 7 to 17. Robinson has custody of one, a 13-year-old girl, who she says Williams brought to her just 2 weeks old. Her mom was very unstable. She was sleeping on the floor at her grandmother's house with the babies, and so I just asked her to give her to me. She said the last time she saw Williams was in November of last year, which was when police believe Kendrick was killed. Robinson said that at the time, Williams' eldest child, a 17-year-old girl, came to her and asked to live with her because of her mother's boyfriend's behavior. She just got tired seeing him abuse her siblings, and when she stepped in to try and protect them, she put her out. And then the update on the 27th of October. The fate of the child killed and left to rot in a Houston apartment has been described in horrific detail by his surviving siblings. And I'm just going to check to make sure this is not the one I read before. I don't want to just rehash that information. So, yeah, let me just go through some. Okay, so, yes, the 7 and 10-year-olds witnessed Brian Coulter beat their 8-year-old brother to death in November of 2020. One of the boys said he was in the room and watched Coulter punch and kick the child in the face, feet, buttocks, back, legs, and testicles, and continued to do so after he stopped moving. He said Coulter then laid the child on the floor and put a cover over him. The 7-year-old also described the attack, saying his brother's eyes turned black and he stopped blinking. After seeing the body, the 10-year-old said his mother started crying and began arguing with Coulter because he, quote, had killed his younger brother. He said Coulter came back another day to check on his younger brother and found that body, feet, and teeth had turned into a skeleton and that his hair was off. The youngest brother said that there were roaches everywhere on so yeah, I don't think these details were there before.
Nope.
The 10-year-old said Coulter frequently beat him as well to the point where his face would swell. He said that whenever Coulter drank beer or alcohol, he would become very strong. Doctors discovered this week that the 10-year-old needed surgery for an injury to his jaw that was never treated. He said he sustained it when Coulter struck him 3 weeks earlier. Williams claimed to police she tried to stop the assault. She said Coulter told her he was sorry, but that he had lost it and punched him and had continued punching him until he went to sleep. She admitted she knew her son had died in November, but didn't tell police because Coulter told her not to. She said she was afraid the children would be taken by Child Protective Services and that she would go to jail. No shit. One police officer said, in my long time in working homicides, this one is up there. This one affected us. He described the victims as special needs children, noted that at least 2 of them appeared to have autism. Despite the horrific abuse they endured, he said they were very sweet children, very nice, very well spoken. At the same time, that 1,000-yard stare, that blankness in the eyes. At the same time, they were as sweet as you can be. Nice children. Wolford said the apartment was in deplorable condition. No furniture, no bedding, soiled carpet, cockroaches, fly infestations. He did not say how well furnished the separate apartment the suspects lived in was. He said he believed the 2 younger children were not allowed to leave the apartment, and there was evidence they had been locked up. Yeah, that was in the previous story. The reason they left the apartment, he believed, was to distance themselves from the dead body while leaving the children behind. He said the 2 other siblings elsewhere who did not live in the apartment, like the ones who did, some had different fathers. One is believed to be deceased, while the other is not in the picture and has no contact with his offspring. Asked why he thought it took a year for the teen to seek help, Wolford said, absolute fear, claiming the beatings were constant. He said the teen relied on his mother to do something about his dead brother until he finally realized he had to do it himself. Wolford called Coulter a classic child abuser. He's an abuser physically, and she's an abuser by omission. He said there was no evidence Williams herself was being abused. Coulter's bond was set at $1 million. Well, thank God for that. So, skipping ahead here. Williams is facing charges of injury to a child by omission and tampering with evidence, a human corpse, per the outlet. Then there could be more charges as the investigation is ongoing. All right, let me just go forward. I don't want to just rehash the same stuff over and over.
No, this is the worst update of a story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, so I mean, there's not much else new there. So yeah, that's what's happening with that story.
Okay, well,
I saw pictures of the
bad.
parents.
Really bad.
The parents both look like they're just a couple of dumb fucks. They're just.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a couple things. Number one, that was really hard. Um, my heart breaks thinking about those children in that apartment. Oh fuck. Sorry, crap.
Oh, it's alright.
It's I do remember actually. It's odd that you specifically mentioned why it took so long for the adult sibling to say something, because I had asked when you initially did the story. I'm like, I wonder why they waited so long, and you said probably because they were scared. So
Well, as someone who,
therein lies the answer to that.
well, when you're living with abuse like that, and as I've said before, a synonym for abuse is torture. You're being physically tortured. It seems like, someone might think, oh yeah, I don't care if I would have been 9 years old, I would have done something. When you live in that kind of fear,
No, absolutely not.
yeah, when you live with that kind of fear, that kind of torture, you will submit. Unfortunately, it's a
They
sad
were
fact of life.
living with their dead brother's
Yeah,
body for a year in the same living space.
yeah. The
And
mother,
the last thing I would like to say, both of those people can be taken out, tortured, thrown in a freaking pile of ants with honey all over their bodies.
or how about this? House arrest, and they have to live in that apartment as it
There you
is.
go. There
As
you go. You know what?
Yep,
Clap, clap, clap. With no food, nothing.
yeah.
People can come check on them every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, that's right.
Every
Yes.
2 weeks, that's it. Only every 2 weeks.
Yep. Give them like
Yeah.
shit.
And then just, you know what? Throw a corpse in there just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, like if the morgue is full, just put a
Yeah,
cloth
just,
in
you know
there.
what? Use it as a storage. It's fine.
Yeah,
Let them see how that, you know what? Perfect.
eat the corpse. Yeah, like take
Yep.
bodies of criminals or something and leave them in there.
Or the roaches. You can eat the roaches.
Yeah, eat the roaches. They're good for protein. Yeah.
Pieces of absolute human monster garbage. I
Yeah.
hope they die miserably.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm not supposed to put negative energy like that out there. I hope they have the day they deserve.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. They don't usually go light on
That's my nice way of saying mean things to people. I hope you have the day you deserve.
Well, that the man in particular is just evil to the core.
Oh, just
The mother's
horrible.
dumb.
No,
Well,
she's also evil. She's also evil.
It didn't say if she was beaten, but maybe he did beat her. Maybe she was
I'm
afraid.
sure he did, but you
Not that that's
you
an
do not see
excuse,
your
of
dead
course
child
not.
and just not say anything. Go screw yourself. Go die in a pile of ants.
And so many women do that, which is really sad. And let their
They're
men
gross.
abuse their children. Yeah.
PSA: if you're a woman who's letting a man abuse your children and you're not doing anything about it, go fucking do something about it.
Because otherwise,
And I am gonna curse, because you know what? That is unacceptable. You are failing. You're a failure. Do better.
oh yeah,
Not
yeah,
even for you. For your flipping child that you decided to have and bring on this earth.
that's right.
It's unfair.
Because otherwise, you're complicit.
Yes. All right. Well, I do have a last story, and it's actually a positive child story.
So it's not a douche canoe.
It
Well, it must involve one, right?
we don't. Yes, it does, but we don't know what or who they are yet.
Oh, okay.
I love my douche canoe. I really do. It makes me happy. But it's so, yeah, this is uplifting. So I'll bring you up a little bit. This came out today. It was in Australia, so I hadn't heard about it, although I never listened to news except for NPR every now and then. So Australian police find 4-year-old Cleo Smith safe 18 days after she went missing.
Mm.
So these stories are very few and far between, especially when you hear the circumstances. These parents must be the literal happiest people on the face of the earth today. So Australian police have rescued Cleo Smith, a 4-year-old girl who went missing from her family's camping tent more than 2 weeks ago in a disappearance that gripped the Australian nation. She was found alive and well and has since been reunited with her parents, said the Deputy Commissioner Cole Blanche of the Western Australia Police Force. He credited the work of police with bringing about the much prayed for outcome. A police team broke away into a locked house in the coastal town of Carnarvon around 1 a.m. local time and found Cleo inside, Blanche told reporters. Quote, one of the officers picked her up into his arms and asked, "What's your name?" He recounted. She said, "My name is Cleo." Those words left seasoned detectives openly crying with relief. That was a quote, Blanche said, according to the AP. Police took a Carnarvon man into custody. The West Australian reports that the unnamed 36-year-old was found nearby and is not known to Cleo's family. Cleo's family lives in Carnarvon. She disappeared with her sleeping bag on the second day of a family camping trip at, I laughed at this like a stupid child when I read it, Blowholes Campground.
Well, there's a place. Anyway, there's a place here called Balls Falls, by the way.
Get the frickin' hell out of here!
I'm not lying. It's near Niagara Falls.
Get out of my life. There is not Balls Falls.
Look it up. I swear to God. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's so many people I want to take in a douche canoe and go into Balls Falls.
Well, did you know about Dildo, Newfoundland?
No. What is happening?
Yeah, Canadian province in Newfoundland. There's a small town called Dildo. It's real.
Y'all are funny. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. Let me start this. Okay. She disappeared with her sleeping bag. On the second day of a family camping trip at Blowholes Campground, some 50 miles away, on October 16th. While she initially assumed to have wandered away from the campsite, emerging evidence raised fears of an abduction. For example, a vehicle was reported speeding away from the area in the dark hours of the morning, and the zipper of the flap of the tent compartment where she slept was too high for her to have reached. Forensic scientists also examined the outside of the family's home to determine whether there had been any stalking or break-in attempts. Authorities reached hundreds of kilometers of land and sea as Ellie Smith, Cleo's mother, made emotional public appeals for information that were broadcast on televisions across Australia. The state government had offered a reward of 1 million Australian dollars, that's 743,000 American, I do not know in Canadian, for information 5 days after the girl's appearance. Blanche said that money was not expected to be claimed, according to the AP. Western Australian Police Commissioner Chris Dawson said in a radio interview that law enforcement, quote, followed every particular lead that we had, end quote, though he declined to elaborate as a suspect was still being questioned. He described the work of the police as methodical and dogged. Yes, thank you. For once. A good police story. Not for once, God, sorry. And credited Cleo's parents and community members with holding on to hope and helping with the effort. Police followed up on forensic leads that led them to a particular house. Officers broke down the door to get in and find Cleo inside. New South Wales Police Commissioner Mick Fuller conveyed the news to Dawson and told a Sydney radio host, "When we got the call this morning, he broke down and cried."
Yeah, I can imagine.
Fuller added that such a reaction by a police veteran is rare, quote, so it just speaks volumes in terms of the amount of effort they put into finding her. I'm going to tear up. Other members of law enforcement shared the sentiment. Quote, when she said, "My name is Cleo," I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. The WA police force called Cleo's rescue the miracle we all hope for, while Ellie Smith said on Instagram that our family is whole again. So
great, that's awesome. That's
I'm putting myself in that. I cannot imagine the relief. Oof.
That's
I've
awesome.
never actually cried on the pod. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'll cry over happy things more than I will over sad ones because see, I'm a big softie. We can talk about like the would you rather and anal bleaching and necrophilia and all that stuff, and I won't cry, but this I'll cry over.
Well, anal bleaching might make you cry. You never know. That must be painful.
No, that was actually really funny, but that's probably the most uplifting story we could possibly ever hear.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad we went out on a positive note then.
You're welcome.
Yes. Great.
Well, now that my day has ended at 11 o'clock when I started at 7, I think I've done all I can do.
We'll assume that this kid sounds like that kid.
Oh, Morgan. I love your sound effects. Keep them coming.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're both two very exhausted individuals tonight, and we got through this pretty well, I think.
I think we did pretty well. We'll see.
Well, my day's not over. I got to wash dishes, edit a podcast script, record. So my work's never done.
Never done. Morgan is a true. He's the king, just reigning over us all.
Exactly.
Love you, buddy.
Oh, I straightened out my tax issues. So now
yay!
I'm only going to be paying 10% of the tax to the U.S. government instead of 65.
Yes, that's amazing news! Hooray! Cheers.
Yeah. I was thankful to be able to had to basically just do everything over again. So the IRS doesn't make it easy for you, do they?
No. No, they do not.
You can't even get a hold of them. Define the IRS. The IRS, yes.
I haven't even. Okay, I can't even talk about taxes because that gives me anxiety.
Well, yeah, I mean, they can arrest you, right? Like,
yeah.
Like Canada Revenue Service, they can't arrest people, but the IRS, they can arrest people.
Freaking IRS. Damn. And then you call them to talk to them. You cannot talk to a person right now. They're so behind. You physically cannot talk to anybody.
Or maybe they just don't want to. Maybe it's probably more like that.
Yeah, I think they just lie. They're saying like, oh, yeah, no, prank caller. Who's this? What? The line's busy.
Yeah, if they want to call you, yeah, you'd better answer the phone. But,
yeah, we can get correspondence in the mail. You know what? I'm going to send them some freaking correspondence. I'll tell you what.
I'll bet there was like horror stories where like somebody at the IRS fucked up and ruined someone's life, and it turned out to be based on like bad data.
I'm 100% certain there is.
Maybe I'll see if I can find a story about that. We can do that someday.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's oof. And mail people. Because remember, like there was that what is it? Mailmen were more likely to commit suicide at one point in time. There was a reason for it. I know it was.
Well, at one point they were killing people. Like there was like a few incidents where mailmen shot people.
Yeah. Oh, they went postal. Yeah,
going postal. Disgruntled postal workers.
There was a whole reason behind that. Thank you. That was it.
On Seinfeld, Newman says because like the mail never stops. I don't know if that's real or not, but oh well. But you know what? I don't tip mailmen. They say you're supposed to tip them at Christmas or something. They get good salaries and benefits. They're going to get a pension.
Yeah, they're actually at this point.
It's not a waitress making $3 an hour. I mean.
Yeah, actually, and they are lucky to have jobs at this point because the mail's kind of going away.
Yeah, because that's one of the last.
Everything's electronic.
The public sector is like one of the last areas where you can find real job security. So.
Yeah. So, support the mail, guys.
Yeah.
But not the IRS mail. That you can take and burn.
Yeah, shove it up there.
Please take that and just burn it. Send it. Return to sender.
Yeah, there was a reason why one of the WWE heels was called the IRS because they knew that people could get behind that idea.
Oh my God, the WWF. I liked the Ultimate Warrior was my absolute favorite.
Oh, he was your favorite, yeah.
Absolute favorite. Yep.
Oh yeah, I was one of the little.
That was my cousin who just passed. That's weird.
I was one of the little Hulksters when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
Big fan.
Hulk was a man.
Did you ever
But-
see his sex tape?
No,
I
no.
watched a little bit of it. I didn't see the
Sure.
actual like sex. It was just somebody posted on a humor website, but they didn't actually include the sex part.
Gotcha.
But they showed like the end of it, and he couldn't finish because he said he had eaten like a huge dinner, and he couldn't get the sex. He said I ate like a pig and I can't do it. So like she was left disappointed.
That's
It was kind of funny. But I mean, he was like, I think he would have been in his 50s at that time, I guess. So, no matter what shape you're in, if you're in your 50s, you just don't have the same stamina. So
I'm not 50 yet. I don't know. Plus, I'm just kind of celibate at this point. So I have 2 little men to look after, and that's what my focus is on now.
That's right.
Make sure they don't grow up and be douche canoes. That's my whole job in life.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, on that note,
Okay.
thanks for tuning in, guys. We hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with us. And
Thanks for putting up with us and sticking with us. We'll come back with more horrible stories next week.
All right. Well, have yourself a great night.
You too, Morgan. No more eating.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.